way to start like the beginning of a podcast.
Hey, it's flu season, man. Everyone's getting taken out right now. So
Yeah. Ahmed, have you ever, okay, now I know you've done a lot of things, but have you ever had your face on on a Christmas ornament?
I have not yet. That
Okay,
is still on the bucket list.
check that out. Okay.
Okay.
Says the
Nice
Donald.
packaging. Okay, I see you.
Is that crazy? I'm
That's
doing,
fresh.
and then it has a Don Lemon show on the back. But I'm doing my Donald Trump sell. If you buy these coins and this watch for a limited time, you get to show your support for the best president ever.
You got to create the lemon coins, man.
Oh my gosh! So that was last night. It
Oh
felt
my.
to me like he was like a snake oil salesman. Like, I mean, honestly, this is what. Can we talk about last night? Let's talk about it.
Let's be frank about how insane it was.
Okay,
Like
okay. Let's talk about last night, as they say. This is what Donald Trump sounded like to me. Mommy, I got a gold star. Right? I'm smarter than Tommy, right, Mommy? I'm the best. I am. And I did that. I'm the one who built the treehouse, right,
mhm.
Mommy? It's like, oh my
Yeah.
God, it was like a toddler having a tantrum.
No, he was yeah.
Secondhand embarrassment. I had secondhand embarrassment.
Yeah, he was like, "No, mommy, me, not Biden. This was me. I did great. Biden, this is Biden wrong. Me good." Like, and then he was getting like visibly flustered as it was going on, getting angrier as he was reading the teleprompter, like he was pissed at his own words. It was insane, and I really think like Americans need to reckon with the fact that this guy's just not fit to be president. He is totally psychologically incapable of any moments of leadership or accountability or just like basic decency. I mean, what a way to cap off his week of horribleness.
Yeah, a week of horribleness, and you're talking about, I'm sure, my dog is fighting me.
Oh, hey, what's up?
I'm sure you're talking about the Rob Reiner thing, right?
Yeah, we can get to that in a second, but like,
Yeah,
I
let's get
mean,
to that. I want to stick with last night, then we'll talk about just how
yeah,
vile that.
we'll talk about that too. But yeah, the last night, man, just all over the place.
So, but not necessarily just all over the place. There were a lot of lies, and almost everything he said was a lie, including, and then also misspelling on his. We're going to talk about those charts too. Illegal. He said he had a chart about what he called illegal aliens, and they spelled illegal IILEGAL.
He can't even spell, bro. Like, and then Kevin Hatton this morning was pissed that Morning Joe was like, "Did you guys show the slides?" Like,
Yes. Why didn't you guys show our
like
slides?
the slides would help. Like the slides would have helped the presentation.
The thing about the slides, though, is that they had no sources, no source
Mhm.
references, and so it's by whose account is it that, is it what government agency, what think tank, what study group, like what nonprofit, what NGO, like what?
It was just all. It was just a fire hose of lies. He was talking about an army. He called 24 million immigrants who came during the Biden era. He said, and he called them an army. He was saying prices are going down. He was saying gas prices are lower than they actually are. He was saying inflation was the highest it's ever been before he came in, and now it's declined. Even if you look at an actual real chart, you'll see inflation was going down, and then here comes Liberation Day, Tariff Day, and then boom, right back up, and then and it's just so clearly he's trying to tell people to disbelieve their own reality, disbelieve their own experience, and believe his bullshit. And like people aren't buying it. People aren't buying it.
No, they're not buying it because you can't tell people what their lived experience is, right? You cannot, no, your lived experience is not what you're experiencing. And people will go, wait, what are you talking about? This is my lived experience. And this is what I said, what I know is that this isn't 1980. Donald Trump has sort of a 1980s and 1990s mentality about media,
Yeah.
which is surprising because, he realized that he had to do, new media or digital media in order to win, and he did.
Mhm.
Excuse me. He won over young people, by the way, whose employment is going up. I think unemployment for young people, 10.8% right now, which
Yep.
is crazy. And these are the same people who voted for him. But you can't tell people, you can't like, change their mind about their lived reality when this isn't 1990, this isn't even 2005. People aren't sitting at home necessarily in front of televisions. Some of those people are watching him on his phone or listening to him on satellite radio
Yep.
as they are at the pump pumping the gas that is not
Hmm.
costing them $1.99. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or
Literally. Yeah.
they're listening to him in their headphones at the grocery store as they're pushing a cart around, deciding which items that they're going to put back. And he's telling them everything's good, it's down, and you're okay. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah. He's telling people while they're most likely doing other things that are like purchasing, or like you're saying, they're out there living their lives. And he's telling them,
Some parts
don't
of the
believe your
country,
eyes.
yeah, in some parts of the country, they're cooking dinner because it's not, he's on at 9 o'clock Eastern, and it's six
Exactly.
o'clock in the West. They're cooking dinner, and they're like, "Well, this meat I just bought cost me a whole lot of money." Donald Trump, what are you talking about?
No, he really, and a lot of it is to assuage his base too. And right now he thinks he can do his old tactic of just, he thinks he's his own best messenger. He has a bunch of yes men around him telling him he's the greatest on earth and telling him that he has the greatest economy and that he's the best and that he's never failed ever in his life. And now he's out here trying to gaslight his own base, thinking once again that he can get them to believe his disinformation instead of their own lived experience. And now and you could tell the whole thing is peppered with the same old stuff, trying to deflect it onto migrants. He was talking about migrants so much in the speech. And then meanwhile, affordability is a real issue. Like you look at the polling, Politico found
Democrat.
37%.
It's a
Yeah.
Democrat.
Oh, but it's a Democrat hoax, but like 37% of his own voters in the corner political poll think it's the worst cost of living crisis they've ever had. And people are blaming him directly for it, rightfully, because these tariffs are out of control. And he's not psychologically capable of admitting failure or having any empathy. So therefore, he won't acknowledge the affordability crisis. So this is just going to go on. He's going to spend the next year just trying to gaslight us, and then people are going to walk right into the poll and say, okay, fine. I'm going to check the box for Dems.
I think people did that the last couple Tuesdays that we had, the special elections, right? That
Yeah.
just they didn't scream about it. This wasn't outrage. This was just a quiet, I'm not dealing with this anymore. And that's really usually how it happens, right?
Yeah.
Is that people just go, I'm done. And when people are done, they just shut up and they just go to the polls and they go, click, not this person, not this person, not you. And I think that's
Yes.
what's happening. But
Exactly. And also just on this piece, like, did you see you see the panic that kind of looked like it was setting in on him? He kind of looked flustered almost. Like kind of like during the COVID briefings. It reminded me of the COVID briefings,
yeah,
like a defiant flusterness.
I think there was what I was going to say is there's a certain vulnerability that he doesn't often express or convey. And I think last night it came out without him wanting to, and standing there in front of the country, reading stuff off of a teleprompter, which is not his forte, right? It's not his strong suit.
No.
And I think it was just a culmination of things. And then, I think he knows that, yes, thank you, Noble Blend. He looked desperate. That's how
Yes.
it felt. I think he knows that he's lying, or he knows that he's not able to bend reality into his own will, as he has been for such a long time. Things that are built on lies and conspiracy theories and cult-like, information. That okay, things that are built on that. Usually, I got two of them here. I don't know if you
Oh,
can
they
see them.
they agree what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep them corralled in here because there's workers in the house. We had a leak in the house, and so we almost didn't get a chance to do this. Okay, boys, good. I'm safe. Nobody's trying to get that. So, if you build it on that, it's going to collapse. At some
Hmm.
point, reality is going to set in, and they're going to go, oh, none of what he's saying is coming to fruition. I'm not experiencing any of what he's saying. And wait till January, Ahmed, when those healthcare premiums start
I
skyrocketing,
know.
then shit is really going to hit the fan.
Yeah, people think he has a bottom. Well, the bottom has not fallen out yet. Wait until those healthcare premiums double, and then we're going to see his polling go down even more. And you're right. That's what we've been seeing and what we've been talking about over this last year is this slow rolling realization among more people and that backed him that he's a con artist and that this is a lie and that he's been gaslighting them and he doesn't care about them. We see it in poll after poll. And now you're seeing the latest, like multiple polls having him at a second term low of 36%, getting close to that first term low of 34%, which is January 6th numbers. This man is deeply, deeply politically weak. 25% approval with independents. His approval among Republicans is starting to go down to the 70s, which is wild. And then there's this other poll that had like MAGA, people who identify as MAGA or Republican is now 50-50, as opposed to like more MAGA. So like we're watching MAGA die in real time. And I think you and I have been kind of on the ball on this. We've been talking, all those indicators back during the first initial Epstein scandal resurgence, and then the now Marjorie Taylor Greene. Everything is just showing that this man is weak. He's pulling the party down, and it's really just a matter of time until these Republicans begin to wake up. And now I think people are watching. I was seeing some takes from people just over this course this week, whether it's the Rob Reiner thing or reaction to the speech, or people just disgusted with him and recognizing that this dude is just not presidential or fit to lead anything.
Look, I don't know if you saw some of the quotes. There's a quote from the people. These are people in his own party. By the way, if you're watching, make sure you smash the screen, hit the hearts, hit the likes, follow us on all of our platforms. It really is important. So yes, total SHIT, liberals and conservatives yawn together over Trump's pointless primetime speech. That was one headline. There was Matt Walsh, and Matt Walsh, you don't get any more MAGA than that. He said that was perhaps the most pointless primetime presidential address ever delivered in American history. And he was one of the people in the manosphere who got Donald Trump elected. And this is Nick Fuentes so that everybody can hear it, okay? All right, let me back it up.
The joke is on us that Trump has tricked us, saber-rattling, starting another new war. We tune in. It's insult after insult, lies, and it's not even entertaining on top of it. Who got trolled here exactly, other than anybody that still supports this person, other than anybody that still believes in any capacity that this administration can get something done? So I watched the address. It's just another ridiculous show. And I'm ready to be done with the Trump show. And unlike Tucker, I'm not going to do a 180 and say, I don't know what I said. What I meant was, no, this Trump show it's just got to end. I don't know. And I would say he should step down, but then J.D. Vance is going to become the president.
Man.
So
when you lose
liberals, it's crazy. I think, look, people are seeing through it. And look, I'm not holding Nick Fuentes up as some authority. When you have someone like Nick Fuentes, like saying what he said, that it is problematic. And then, go ahead. I was going to talk about him here, but go on.
Yeah, no, I mean, when you have the neo-Nazis starting to turn on him too, like everyone, and then you have Matt Walsh, like him saying it's a pointless, like, again, people are feeling more free to speak out. We were talking about how once you provide that permission structure to be defiant, first it was Candace Owens, then it was Marjorie Taylor Greene, then it's Nick Fuentes, and then now more and more people in the mainstream are speaking out. We're watching the MAGA movement deflate. It's one of those things where it's not gonna pop out of, overnight. It's slowly deflating. And then I think they're cooked next year, and I think we all know it. And I think right now we're seeing just like what you're talking about with healthcare, we went to the cliff. And Mike Johnson was like, you know what? Rather than pull us back from this cliff, even after the discharge petition gave him a off ramp, he's like, nope, we're not going to do the vote. Off the cliff we go, and we're going to let healthcare premiums jump.
Well, the thing is that I think is behind it. Look, it's obvious that Donald Trump is obsessed with Joe Biden, right? And he's probably mad because Joe Biden beat him in 2020, right? He's obsessed. Joe Biden's the worst president ever, blah, 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 blah. Worst inflation ever. None of that's true. Worst economy ever. That's not true. Inflation was actually, when Joe Biden left office, lower than it is now, right? And when Donald Trump entered, it was 3%. It was started to go down, as you mentioned, and then it went back up because of the Liberation Day when he enacted the tariffs. But when it comes to healthcare, he's also obsessed with another person. And I believe that he doesn't like that Americans are benefiting from the Affordable Care Act, which is Obamacare. And so as long as it has any Barack Obama's fingerprints on it, he's going to instruct lawmakers, Republican lawmakers, not to sign off on it, even though that they don't have a plan. And here we are, as you said, we've jumped off of a cliff because on January 1st, those premiums are going to skyrocket, and most of his supporters are going to be affected by it, and they're going to get those higher premiums.
No, you're spot on, and I'm glad you bring up Obama, because people sometimes don't like make that connection, because all of this is one piece of one story. This psychologically unwell human being and his obsession with Obama, man. Like, I really think homeboy is still not over that roast, that White House press corps roast in 2011, 2012. He's been on Obama's ass from the beginning, and the reason why, and we can be frank about it, Donald Trump is so frustrated with the fact that this black man that came from the bottom, right? This black man that did not born into what he was born into is so much just greater than him. He can't tolerate it. He can't tolerate that a black man is superior than him in every way. And I think that is part of what's going on with him on that other level. But also, yes, he roasted him. Obama's better than him. Obama was a better president than him. Obama has more self-control than him. And he secretly wants Obama's approval at the same time while hating him. You see, he melts every time he's in Obama's presence, right? Like Obama and Mamdani and all these people, they kind of represent these liberals that rejected him in New York, right? And it's all like, it's just, he hates them, but he loves them at the same time. And he just can't let Obama's legacy remain untouched, man.
Because he wants to be him.
Yeah.
He wants to be,
he loves him.
like him. And he wants to be like Mamdani. He wants people to like him. And here's what I think is, they don't revere him. They tolerate him.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They kind of laugh with him and ha 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 ha, like Barack Obama did at the funeral. Was it George Bush's senior? Was it George Bush senior? Oh no, Carter's funeral.
Yeah, it's Carter. Yeah,
at Carter's funeral, President Carter's funeral. And he's just, people are like, why is he smiling Barack Obama in his face? And he's just like, this fool, whatever. I'm just going to laugh. Ha ha ha, whatever. I didn't like it. I was very critical of him, but Barack Obama's a better man than I am. But he wants to be Barack Obama, and Barack Obama doesn't revere Donald Trump. He tolerates him.
Exactly. And all of these liberals that he wants to love, like Mamdani's nice to him for 1 second, Trump just melts. He's just like, oh man, these liberals, I've wanted to love me for so long. He's such a good guy. Haven't seen Trump that nice to a person in so long. And it's like, man, it's just, he's so fragile. He's just the most fragile.
But he's also easy that way. Yeah. Look at the people. Look at J.D. Vance compared him to Hitler, right? And Kellyanne Conway worked for Ted Cruz. She held the Ted Cruz super PAC. She was the leader of that back in 2016. She ended up becoming his campaign manager, right? He and Corey Lewandowski had a falling out. Like Donald Trump, all you have to do is say, go back and meet with him or reach out to him and get back in his good graces, and he loves you. It doesn't matter how much shit you've talked about him.
Yeah, no, exactly. Exactly.
If you like, Mr. President, I was wrong. You are the greatest, whatever. He would say, that Ahmed guy isn't a bad guy. He finally realized that Trump is good. That, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden he'd be pouting and he'd be asking you if you want a position.
No, immediately. If you too, man, if either of us were like, you know what, Donald has a point, we would be swept up by black conservatives so quick. They would throw money at us. Donald would invite us to Mar-a-Lago instantly. That's how it works with them. But speaking of his ego, that the flip side of praising him is obviously when you attack him, you stay on his bad side. I know how much more time we have left, but that I wanted to make sure we get to the Rob Reiner thing of this week, because this guy does not have a moral bone in his body. He is the most, and again, I'm been for some reason trying to remain. I've been trying to find non-expletive ways to describe this man's depravity, and without and it's hard as hell, man. And then I watched what you said. And I was like, well, I don't have to say it. He said it for me.
That was just spontaneous, because here's the thing. I had been looking at the story, and just as the show was going on, they said, we have a response from Donald Trump, and I didn't see it. And so, but I looked in my, I have my notes and I have an elements list of things that I can use. And it said Donald Trump's response to Rob Reiner. And I put it up and I started reading it, and I'm like,
yeah,
I asked the producers. I don't know if I asked them live. No, this is before. I got that wrong. I cannot tell a lie. They told me before, and it was just before the show. And I said, "This cannot be real. Is this AI? Is
Yeah.
this a fake? Because I know it is not real." And then we went on, and I said, "Let me know if it is real. Put it in the notes, and if it is not, don't." We went on the thing, and then I started reading it, and I said, "F you, man."
Yeah, I mean, it was a human reaction. Fuck you. It was a human reaction. You know, like it was what everyone viscerally felt. Like you put the words to the outrage that we were all feeling when reading that shit, man. Because it was like we just like this guy is such a tiny man, you know, just like a small, heady, amoral person. Yeah, we could be more specific on the tiny, but like he's a horrible human being, and it's like I'm tired of like pretending. Like they're lucky didn't have me on cable that one of those nights talking about it because I was really like frustrated if anyone trying to pretend anymore that this guy is even remotely decent or like respectable or worthy of our respect just because he holds the office of the presidency. Like I'm just so frustrated with this man's depravity to the way he like tried to tarnish the way he just came at Rob Reiner. Like this man was just murdered. Well, before we even knew any details about it, you gonna make it by yourself?
Yeah.
Murdered by his own son? Like I just no one was defending it.
Yeah, no one, and the thing is, I was surprised that I did not get any pushback from conservatives pretty much because
They agree.
they knew that was some vile shit that he did. And even if look, it was wrong. Even if he had handled it the way many people handled Charlie Kirk. Hey, look, I hardly agree with anything that Charlie Kirk said or whatever he stand for. But that was terrible. That should never have happened. My heart goes out to his widow and his family.
Yeah.
And we have to stop the political violence. That's how most people who were even somewhat, if you want to call that critical, and other people just chose to say this shouldn't happen or whatever. I did not hear one Democratic leader, anyone of substance, anybody taking glee in Charlie Kirk's death. Now, trolls online, well, that's what Twitter is for. That's what social media is for. People are going to do shit like that, sadly. But I didn't hear anybody, and then certainly didn't hear, Hakeem Jeffries or Chuck Schumer or any or Nancy Pelosi or anyone saying anything like that, or Barack Obama for that matter. It was the exact opposite. Or Rob Reiner himself.
Exactly. Rob Reiner straight up said that I disagree with him entirely, but this is something that just should not have happened. It's a tragedy. Political violence is unacceptable. And you saw people on the right initially before Trump said this, they were trying to they were talking about how this was wrong, right? They were trying to say, oh, we're not like the left, even though, like you said, no one important on the left said anything of the sort. It was like random accounts that were talking about, Charlie, that were like celebrating Charlie Kirk. But like this example just totally undercut what though they spent months Trump tried to get Jimmy Kimmel fired for doing significantly less, for making a mundane joke.
Yeah.
When then Trump goes and tries to like literally two-step on Ron Reiner's grave, literally like celebrating and then doubling down when asked about it. Like he's just a depraved human being. And even the National Review, Jim Garrity at the National Review wrote this article and said that he was a raging, I think he called him a lunatic. Called him a lunatic. Yeah. I have the exact quote here. So on the National Review, and Brett Hume at Fox News shared this article. The chief political analyst at Fox News shared this National Review article. From Jim Garrity, senior national political correspondent at the National Review. He said that the president of the United States is a hateful, raging lunatic with all the empathy of Jeffrey Dahmer. The National Review published this.
That's worse than what I said.
It's even worse.
Because he compared the man to a serial killer. I was just
You just said he had a little dick.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he went on. I'll read you more of it if you want to hear. Like he said, I'll let you decide whether the term psychopath or sociopath better describes the president's actions. The president cannot discern moral right from wrong. And then he went on to say, basically, you can prefer the president's policies. You could say you're happy you voted for him or whatever. But what you can't say is that Donald Trump is a good and decent human being. The National Review and Britt Hume, chief political analyst of Fox News, shared this article. Um, it was almost searing conservative takedowns of Trump's like depravity I've ever seen. And it's again, this is something you and I know, right? Like for a lot of people, for some reason, this was like a thing that was shocking or like took people to the next level of like a surprise for some people in his base. But again, this is just, we knew this. Trump's critics have known this about Donald. This is who he is. He is a person that has no moral compass, and he's not fit for the presidency.
I agree with Noble Blend in the comments who said, wow, that whole paragraph needs to be on a billboard. I agree. And to say that about Rob Reiner of all people is ludicrous. Mr. Reiner was one of the greatest Americans ever. He did so much for other Americans. And I mean, look, he was not like a hateful person at all.
No.
Come on, how can you say that shit about Meathead?
Yeah, you can't say that about Meathead. And he had, his films were iconic. When Harry Met Sally, Stand By Me. He was in people's homes, and then as an actor, like even in his later years, his cameo in Wolf of Wall Street, hilarious and iconic. Well, not even cameo, really major role. And he's not like a person. He's beloved. He's not he's political and he's pro democracy, but he's not a particularly inflammatory or controversial person. So it was disgusting for Donald to do what he did.
I was shocked at look, there weren't enough, I believe, conservatives or people on the right who who spoke out about Donald Trump. But do you know James Wood, the actor, right?
Yes.
Like staunch MAGA, very conservative, always speaks out about how liberal Hollywood is. He said it was a dear friend that he helped him out, when he needed help, that he changed his career. Now, what I said about James Woods is that you should try that for people who are not contributing to your, your career and your bottom line, your pocketbook, right? Or because you should have that same sort of empathy for people who you don't know, who can't help you, right?
Exactly.
That's what the whole thing about the least of these, and that's about disagreeing with people. So, look, I like it when people say I disagree with them, but I don't think it should happen. I remember I got a lot of guff when Tucker Carlson was confronted and I thought rather unfairly in a fishing store, and people were like, "No, Don, screw you." And I was like, I don't know if I would want that happening to me in public, or feeling threatened by something like that. But look, this is America, and I defended Tucker Carlson, and people were like, "Wait, what?" Because you have to put yourself in their shoes.
Exactly.
If you're out with your family and some crazy person on the right walked up to you, Ahmed, and said and started, confronting you, and you feel threatened. You wouldn't want that to happen.
No, exactly.
It's America, but that's what I said. I would not want that to happen to me.
Yeah.
So,
because you have empathy, and it's like, and that's what you're saying. Like, oh, James Woods did that. Rob Schneider. It's these people. It has to affect them personally, or someone they know, or like they had to have been bros with Rob Reiner in order to be repulsed by what Trump said. Whereas, like, what you were able to do with even Tucker is be like, I just don't think that should happen to anyone, right? And I can put myself in that person's shoes. And again, I think that's what the right really lacks a lot of the time is empathy beyond their circle.
Yeah. But what I said about that is that Tucker Carlson is not an elected official. Now, elected officials, that's different. You put yourself out there to be, to be accountable to your constituents and to the public. That's a different thing. Just because you're on television in the public eye, it doesn't mean that the public can treat you a certain way. But if you're an elected official, I feel like that's what you signed up for, and
exactly.
You didn't sign up for violence. Obviously, you didn't sign up for threats, but part of it is having people go, "Hey man, I needed you to fix the tax thing. You didn't. Why not?"
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I needed you to why did you take away to take away a woman's right to choose? That's messed up.
No, I totally agree. I totally agree.
Do that.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I don't think, random, commentators should be heckled. I agree. I think like if you're a political figure, if you ran for office, you're serving the public interest. Therefore, that's different because basically you're the boss of these politicians. They serve the people. So you're basically their boss. You can say whatever you want to them. You can walk up to them and hold them accountable. But like if you're in the media, the people aren't really our bosses. We serve them though. But like, yeah, man, I think you're right. Like overall, just you got to have empathy, and it's something that Donald does not have. Across all these stories we talked about, like the common denominator is this man, Donald, is psychologically a broken man. And I think more and more Americans are realizing that he is just not a decent human being. And he was not like I posted this. I think I saw you talking about it earlier too. Like he wouldn't be fit to run a local fast food joint. Like he would get fired. All his behavior would have gotten fired as assistant manager at McDonald's. Not that it's bad, but like, you know, if you he could any employment standard in the country.
Any job from, I hate to say dog catcher, because dog catcher's not a bad job, right? You people have to catch the dogs in hell. But I was like, even people say not fit to be dog catcher, but still.
And yet Republicans hold this man up for the most powerful office on earth. He can't even keep self-control for 10 minutes. He woke up and his people around him were gassing him up saying, yeah, send that Rob Reiner thing, because he has no self-control or internal guardrails.
I agree with PJ Schuster. Right. Even a scumbag like James Wood said it was a terrible thing that Donald Trump said.
No, I mean, I was seeing people all over the right. Megyn Kelly, I saw Laura Ingraham posted like a thing talking about how she had a great interview with him. All over the spectrum. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Thomas Massey, people speaking out. It's just enough. It's just enough. Like I'm getting to the point where I can't make excuses for backing him anymore. Yeah. I can't rationalize it. Enough.
And I can't give people the benefit of the doubt anymore. It's like, really? I just wow.
It's just like, bro, enough, man. Enough.
All righty, sir. We'll see you next time.
Great to see you. Next Thursday is Christmas. And I'm actually leaving the country for next week. So I'm gonna be traveling with my wife. And then we're doing our final trip before we're anticipating a baby, and so this is our final adult trip. And then, in the new year, hopefully baby. So we're going to go travel during Christmas. What are you up to? Oh, actually, I know what you're up to. You're about to go down to New Orleans. You're about to go party.
I was going to show you. So I don't have anything that just shows you that I'm going to party. I'm going to New Orleans. We're walking to New Orleans. I don't know if you know that song. Yeah, we're going to New Orleans. So make sure you guys tune in. All you have to do is stream in, and it's easy, just with a click of a button, and watch us. And it's going to be fun. I'm going to do it just like we do. When you get ready, you pregame, right?
Of course.
You set up. If you go to a football game, you pregame, right? You set up your barbecue pit.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple of drinks in a cooler.
No, it's gonna be hilarious. It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be lit. All right, brother. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy holidays.
Same to you, brother. See you. Enjoy. See you, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Your support means the world to us. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss a show. We're live every weekday at 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Time, with new clips dropping at 2 p. and 8 p. And if you want even more Don Lemon Show content, join the Lemon community. Members get exclusive posts, behind-the-scenes videos, and live chats just for you. So hit the join button or visit our channel page to sign up. Thanks again for all your love and your support, and I'll see you next time.